John Ridley, Brandon Thomas, and Paul Jenkins return to continue their action-packed Gotham stories as Batman makes a deal that will end badly for him, the Outsiders continue their good fight against the Magistrate, and the Arkham Knights launch a daring heist on the Peacekeepers to acquire something special to them and to Gotham. Again, John Ridley delivers a great Batman story that continues to set Tim apart from the previous Batman, giving him something new to tackle as well as his supporting cast to tackle, who again get a lot of play this issue. I enjoyed the family drama brewing in the Fox household, with all its members being pulled in different directions, all by the Batman. Tanya being set up again as a type of antagonist is quite brilliant, and as we itch closer to the family learning what Tim is doing, I'm looking forward to what that brings for the Fox family, specifically Tanya, who is so against Batman and so against masks because of what they did to her daughter. The one thing, however, that kind of threw me from the story here was last issue there was a point that was made that Batman was having trouble dealing with the Magistrate and specifically the Cybers, yet this issue he easily takes down multiples of the Cybers and the soldiers, all while wounded. So that felt a little inconsistent with what we were told last issue. Brandon Thomas finishes up his Outsider storyline in action-packed fashion and honestly delivering us probably the best iteration of the Outsiders outside of the original iteration. I enjoy Duke finally getting the spotlight and leave it to a possible future, much like the recent Tales from the Dark Multiverse, to give the character something new and interesting to do that makes him an integral part of both the Bat family as well as a larger superhero in the community. I hope with the announcement of Future State Gotham books being announced in Infinite Frontier, we get to see more of this team, since the ending implied some really fun status quo shifts, like Signal wielding the Black Lightning sword and Katana getting her old sword back with her husband in it, which are all things that should definitely be explored more. Finally, Paul Jenkins finishes his really fantastic Arkham Knight storyline in a hopeful way, continuing the fun new take on Astrid Arkham and her role as keeper and doctor to these wayward villains. I really enjoyed how much she evolved over these two issues and how we went from her wanting to cure just a few criminals to wanting to cure the entire city, and to do so we get a really great reason to repurpose a bat signal that instead of signaling for something dark or something dark has happened and they need to call someone to deal with it, it brings light and dawn back to Gotham. I love the focus on the smaller characters as well, like Dr. Phosphorus, giving him a really compelling yet sad arc throughout these two issues, and I love see it become kind of the call to arms for the Arkham Knights and for Gotham there at the end. I thought that was a brilliant use of that character's art. Laura Braga again delivers some really fantastic Next Batman art, getting a little bit more action focused this issue with some fun fight scenes and really pleasing panel layouts that were really clean and bold and stood out. I loved how fast paced her action panels were, and the flow of them was really great and easy to follow, which is very important when it comes to action. Sumit Kumar's Outsiders art again gave me great Batman White Knight feelings, especially since this issue featured some really cool new vehicles and weapons, as well as the already awesome character redesigns from the last issue. I love Duke's new look with the Soul Taker sword there at the end of the story, giving some really big anime protagonist vibes, and even Black Lightning was kind of acting like his stand. Jack Herbert finished up his work on the Arkham Knight storyline in quite grand fashion, filling every page and panel with so much action and detail. Again, there are some really wonderful shots of the future Gotham this issue with its huge intimidating buildings that help also sell the story of this small group breaking through it all to find the dawn again. Future State, the Next Batman issue 3, continue the new Batman's excellent story and journey to stop the Magistrate and save some people along the way. John Ridley's exploration of the Fox family and their pain that masks have caused them is so interesting and a fantastic way to take the series and set it apart from the other Batmen. The Outsiders and Arkham Knight stories also wrapped up really nicely, leaving just enough room that if they were to be explored later, be it in the recently announced Future State Gotham book or somewhere else, they have been perfectly set up for it. I'm going to give this issue a 9.5 out of 10. Future State, the Next Batman issue 3, sees the Magistrate's full force brought down on Batman and the couple he chased down. Batman gives up though, knowing that he needs to buy a few more seconds to help the people escape. Captain Stans, however, demands his men shoot them all. something Batman anticipated, so he throws bombs at the group, blowing the drones out of the sky as he engages the cybers, telling the people to stay close to him. Batman takes down the cybers surprisingly easy before confronting Captain Stans and his men, throwing electrical stun devices onto them, downing the officers. The captain opens fire, but Batman smashes him in the face, knocking him back into the smoke-filled alley. The people come and help Batman get to his bike, but one of the surviving drones fires a missile at it, destroying the bike before coming around for another attack. Batman knows that the soulless drone doesn't think or feel, it just keeps coming, and for him, that's his advantage. Batman picks up a rock and throws it at the drone, easily destroying it. He tells the people that they need to keep moving, but the man knows that if they run, they will kill them. Batman tells him that if they stay, they will be killed, and while they surrender to him, he will protect them, but he can't do so while they stand around doing nothing. After a moment, the people agree to go with Batman, taking off into Gotham City with the Dark Knight. Later, Peacekeeper 1 demands to know what happened out there, so Captain Stans details his men identifying the targets before identifying themselves and opening fire. Peacekeeper 1 is angered at the man since he identified himself and his men before opening fire, knowing that that's not how it works now since he's a private cop paid to kill Batman, and even with all the firepower he had, he still couldn't do it. Stans mentions how when the real Batman was killed, he was worn down and lost his will to fight, which angers Peacekeeper 1 since it sounds like Stans is accusing him of getting lucky when they killed him. Peacekeeper 1 demands Stans and his men redeploy, not wanting to see him until he's wearing Batman's blood-soaked cape. Stans leaves, meeting with his men and telling him it went down exactly the way he thought it would happen. One of his men says that Peacekeeper 1 doesn't know anything since he's never faced the Batman, but Stans knows that whenever he mentions Batman around him, Peacekeeper 1 gets real angry. An officer says that their drones are out looking for the Batman and the couple, but Stans knows that he wants to leave this to his men, telling his men to get out there and find all three of his targets, wanting to be the one to put a bullet in Batman's head. Elsewhere, Detective Chubbs tells Montoya and her partner about Louis Deshevsky, the man who was found dead in the alley, and how he had no wants, warrants, or priors attached to him. Montoya thinks it's just another Gotham murder, but Chubbs knows not all of them get Batman's attention like this one did. Renee warns her about not following the Batman since that's how they ended up with the Peacekeepers in the first place. She tells Chubbs to let it go since the public doesn't care about masks, so if her and Tells end up on the opposite side of Batman, they are ordered to shoot him on sight. Batman meanwhile takes the couple to one of his safe houses where they ask why he's helping them. The hero says that he believes in justice and the couple deserve a trial, not an execution. He wonders if either of them have ever worked in the medical profession, telling them that he has a bullet in his side and he's going to take off his armor and he needs help fixing it. He gives the woman a flare, wanting her to light it and press it to his wound, knowing that it will hurt, but it will stop him from dying. Lighting the flare, the woman pushes it into Batman's ribs, cauterizing the wound enough. The man spots Tim's other scars, wondering if the Magistrate did all that to him, but he tells him that that was from his former job where he would get tortured a lot, but now he just gets shot up a lot, which is a step up. The man asks if he needs to rest, and while Tim wants to, resting won't get them through the night. Tanya meanwhile confronts her husband Lucius about the weaponry Wayne Enterprises sold to the Peacekeepers. Lucius goes on about how the weapons all stood up to the safety systems they had in place, but Tanya tells him she's not a shareholder, but a lawyer trying to make sure the shoot-on-sight law stands up in court, and Lucius is now part of this. Lucius tells her that if she can't do this job, she needs to back off and let the Peacekeepers do their jobs. Tanya leaves as Lucius tries to apologize, but the woman says it's as he says, and she's going back to her office to try and figure out how to save the law. Leaving, Tanya meets with her daughter Tiff, who isn't too happy that her parents are cool with the private cops getting to shoot whoever they want on sight, especially after everything that she's been taught by them. Tanya says that this is different, but Tiff knows it's never different, it's just different for them. Tanya knows that justice doesn't wear a mask or a hood, and it's never a vigilante. Tiff takes her leave, going to visit Luke, who is busy training. Tiff says that she needs to talk to him and outrightly asks if he's this new Batman, but Luke denies it. Tiff knows that he could just be lying like how he lied about being Batwing, but Luke reminds her that he didn't lie, he just never told anyone. Tiff tells him that if he is the Batman, he needs to knock it off since it's killing their parents. Luke knows his parents have their own fair share of issues with what happened to Tam and what Punchline did to Lucius, and Tim coming home didn't help. Tiff reminds him that his brother goes by Jace now, but Luke doesn't care, since he isn't helping by being around. Tiff tells him not to talk about their brother like that, but Luke knows that he messed up badly and he left his family to take responsibility for it. Tiff doesn't know how she's meant to feel about this new Batman being around now, and Luke tells her that anybody who's willing to go out into the night and deal with the nonsense in Gotham is a good person. Batman meanwhile tells the couple to get ready to move, since the Peacekeepers are probably tracking their electronic transmissions, and he's about to use one with his burner phones. Batman plans on calling the police to take the couple in, reminding them that they are to stand trial, not be executed, but the man knows the cops will just kill them. Batman reminds them that they killed a man and they don't get to run from that, knowing someone who could probably help. Using one of his burner phones, Batman calls Detective Chubb, who as it turns out needed to talk to the hero as well, wanting him to turn himself in. Batman makes it known he knows what she is investigating in this murder of Lewis, telling her that he has the two people who killed him, but there is more to their story and they deserve a fair trial. Chubb knows that they shouldn't have put on masks, but Batman knows the detective thinks that the shoot-on-sight law is wrong and the Peacekeepers want to murder them. Chubbs asks why he's getting involved, learning that when good people don't stand up to bad laws, that's when they are all finished for, and so he's standing up. Chubbs lets Batman know that she'll be at City Hall to collect the people, giving Batman 1 hour to be there, but she can't promise she won't shoot him. Disconnecting the call, Batman gets ready to take the couple in, but the man smashes him in his wounded side, beating Batman down onto the ground. His wife tries to stop him, but Eric smashes her away as well, using a cord to tie up the hero, knowing while they probably will be killed for killing Lewis, if they kill Batman, maybe they'll catch a break. Outside Gotham, Duke Thomas talks to a group of dissidents at the Armstead Theatre, knowing that he doesn't know how to win our war against the Magistrate, but he knows they will all win. At Katana's Keep, Jefferson finds Tatsu keeps the original katana, wondering what the hell happened to it to break. Tatsu asks what happened to Jefferson, but the man says that it's a really long story and he was trying to do the right thing, but everything went wrong and magic and a curse was involved, but he will figure it out and how to fix it after they find Duke. He explains what he saw while watching them, knowing that there was something around Duke that wasn't right, but the pull from her sword was stronger, and he could hear it so far away and he could feel it as well. Jefferson quickly apologizes, but suddenly is zapped away, dropping the sword. He reappears soon, apologizing since he's still getting used to the form of his. He tells Tatsu he worries about her taking on all of this herself, and she shouldn't have to do this alone. Tatsu knows that he sounds like Duke, who's turned himself into some type of political figurehead for the people. Duke meanwhile finishes his talk to his people, telling them that he's leaving them with some clothes, some walking around money, and untraceable phones, but they can't leave the safe house until someone named Bennett comes by to give them a more permanent solution to their new lives. Duke wishes them luck as he takes off, contacting Katana and telling her that he's fine, but the whole incident on the bridge felt too easy, but he could just be getting paranoid in his old age. Tatsu tells him that Jefferson is there and he's also sensing something is amiss. Duke tells her to say hi to Jefferson since he tagged the 3 people he rescued with nano tracers and one just went off for a walk, so he's going to go find him. Suddenly Duke is attacked by one of the men, learning he's cybernetically enhanced. The man asks Duke about Katana talking on the open channel, telling him that he saw her on the bridge with his cyber eyes and used them to track her jetpack to where she has been hiding, so he'll be able to snag both the heroes for even more upgrades. Duke flips over the man, saying that that's not happening as he plants a device on his head, stunning him. Duke kicks the man from the building, and calling in his bike, Duke asks if Katana can meet him back on the bridge, so Tatsu gets ready to head out, but Jefferson needs a moment, using his power to reform Katana's old sword and store himself within it. Heading for the bridge, Katana and Signal battle their way across in pursuit of the Cyborg. Suddenly they are shot at by Caliber and his huge weaponized truck. He tells Agent Cullen, the Cyborg, to get the hell out of there and back to Gotham. The agent comes to the truck, which fires on the heroes as it escapes. Katana gives chase with help from Jefferson, telling Duke to find the Cyborg within the wreckage and wipe his mind. Katana dashes over the cars and rips through Caliber's truck with one quick slice. The explosion, however, injures Katana, who tries to reach Jefferson, but Caliber grabs the weapon, knowing it's never going to stop with him and the Magistrate will make sure he's always better than them. The villain, however, is struck by lightning as Jefferson tries to free himself from the sword, but Caliber Calibur's systems are now shielded, protecting him from more damage. Jefferson continues to shock the villain, however, saying that Calibur never had faith. The sword falls from his grip and Jefferson takes physical form, saying the Magistrate isn't there for the villain, it's just him and the outsiders. Black Lightning stabs the villain, but Duke stops him from killing the man as Katana asks if he wiped Agent Cullen's mind. Duke confirms he did as Jefferson tells his friend that he is there thanks to magic from the wrong magician. Duke knows that they will fix him, telling Jefferson that one way or another he will, since that's what he does now. Later on, after dealing with Calibur, Katana apologizes about how she spoke to Duke earlier, knowing that that wasn't fair on him, but Duke knows that she didn't mean anything by it, and while he doesn't know what is fully right, he still knows what is wrong. Duke reveals that he knows someone in Gotham who could help Jefferson, so he'll take the sword to the woman, hoping Tatsu can get by without the new Soul Taker. She reveals that Jefferson took care of it, something Duke knows he's very good at. Duke leaves, asking Jefferson how he's doing, but the Lightning doesn't know what to say. Duke tells him that he doesn't need to say anything, since he owes the man everything, knowing it's all wrong, but it won't stay that way for much longer, so it's time for them to send this message out and get to work. Later, Duke heads to the Gotham City border, where he confronts the Magistrate's guards there. The men order him to surrender or turn around and leave the city limits if he wants to live, but the Signal refuses, knowing that he and the other people of Gotham are not scared of the Magistrate, and there is nothing that they can do to stop him. At Gotham's Port Authority, Penguin's men load a bunch of crates into a truck, questioning why Oswald wants this stuff, since if the Magistrate catch them, they'll be dead meat. The leader tells the others to hurry up or they'll miss the midnight deadline as a bomb goes off next to the truck as the Magistrate's cybers arrive, demanding the men surrender. Their boss demands that they fight back as the van explodes, and they are taken into custody, brought before Peacekeeper 6, who says that they are empowered to let them live on behalf of Peacekeeper 1's orders, and in return for the men's freedom, they are required to deliver a message to the Penguin and tell him he's missing teeth. The men are beaten by the cybers as elsewhere, Astrid Arkham meets with her team in the former Batcave, telling the Reformed villains that when they get hit, they hit back harder, and when they make them fear them, they teach them the meaning of fear. She tells them that they are all forged in adversity and given purpose by their common cause. She asks if Killer Croc is ready to swear fealty to her and her cause, and Waylon is, as is Humpty Dumpty, who is busy stuffing his face with the food that Astrid happily provides him. Astrid says that they've all been given a path to reintegration, but she wants more. The briefing is handed over to Two-Face, who says that they have found their main target's location, and with their support craft they stole and modified, they can finally begin their assault. Zsasz doesn't want to listen to a weakling like Harvey Dent, but he is reminded that Dent is a lot smarter than he is. Astrid reprimands Zsasz, saying that Dent is her first lieutenant and he is afforded the same courtesy he affords her. Dent continues his briefing, saying that the Magistrate have taken over an abandoned bank as a storage area, and it's believed Peacekeeper 6 has assembled a mass cache of weapons there, so that is where they are going. Astrid reminds them that they all have a job to do, so there is no self-expression allowed this time, and Croc will be her personal protection during the mission. Anarchy doesn't expect them all to go work together, but Astrid does, since she believes that they are all there for a reason, one that will become clear once they reach their prize. She notices how they are missing Dr. Phosphorus, finding that Alex is sitting alone elsewhere in the cave. Peacekeeper 1 meanwhile meets with Peacekeeper 6, who asks how he knows the Arkham Knights will come. Peacekeeper 1 knows criminals are like jackdaws and can't resist the glittering prizes like new weapons catches. He knows that this is 6's operation now and he needs to be elsewhere to meet with Mayor Nakano anyway, wanting to remind the mayor about how his police departments were driven out of their posts while the Magistrate remained firm. Peacekeeper 6 knows that everything is ready and waiting and the Knights will be dead before the sun sets, and she will join Peacekeeper 1 later, assuming that they take the bait. Peacekeeper 1 knows that they already have, having been tracking them and learning that in the last 9 minutes they are already there. Astrid meanwhile reminds herself of the sun and how she's trying to get her Knights to bring it back, comparing herself to Amanareris, the Queen of Kush, and a fierce warrior who was never afraid to lead her people from the front, and she always inflicted more pain on the Romans every time they inflicted pain on her people. Astrid leads the Knights in the assault on the Magistrate's weapon cache. The Knights rip through the Magistrate's defenses, but soon Dr. Phosphorus collapses under his pain. Astrid comes to his aid, telling him to fight his sickness, but Alex knows it's not the fighting, since that's the only distraction he has, and it's all the sleep and quiet moments he never tells Astrid about that are the worst, and he can't try and survive for the gift of a life of agony. Astrid helps him up, promising to find a cure for him as Peacekeeper 6 rallies her men for another wave of attacks, but she is alerted to the Knights' aircraft coming in from behind. Suddenly, the old GCP building nearby explodes as Peacekeeper 1 is contacted, told that they went for a different target than the weapons cache. He demands to know why, as 6 says that they entered the police precinct and had he not left abruptly, they could have stopped this. Peacekeeper 1 says that had he not left, he would have seen 6's defeat at the hands of the insurgents, and the alternate would have been him doing it himself, and to prevent that from happening is why she is there. Peacekeeper 6 says that they have hacked their drones, making 1 even more angry as the Knights storm the GCPD building, heading to the roof where Dent arrives with the stolen transport, getting ready to pick the team and their prize up. Peacekeeper 6 orders her men up onto the roof as her men wonder why they exactly broke into an old police building. On the roof, the Knights take the bat signal, confusing some of the onlookers as to why they are taking a giant floodlight. The team begin boarding the transport as Peacekeeper 6 arrives on the roof, readying to fire. Alex confronts the villain, saying that he cannot continue, thanking Astrid for believing in him. Peacekeeper 6 fires, hitting Dr. Phosphorus as Astrid jumps down, stabbing the Peacekeeper in the stomach before tending to Dr. Phosphorus, who quickly tells her that he doesn't want to see the dawn since his skin hurts when the sun rises. Astrid clips Alex into his harness as the chopper lifts off, escaping the Magistrate with the signal and the team. Later at the manor, the team try and save Alex, working on him tirelessly in the medical lab. Astrid mourns for Alex, but Dent tells her that the people are ready for her. She tells Harvey to give the medical team whatever they need to save Alex as she addresses the gathered team, telling them a new day dawns in their fight against tyranny. She knows that they are all broken and insane, yet they have proven to be a common cure for the wasteland of Gotham City, all for a broken trinket. She wonders if their brother-in-arms fell for a simple bloodlight, but doesn't think he did, as she activates the Arkham Knight signal, knowing Dr. Phosphorus fell in battle for a beacon of hope that reminds the Magistrate why the relics of Gotham are worth fighting for, since it's a symbol more valuable than any coin and it's their sun, and from that day on it will always shine on Gotham.